It
Welcome to the
is
Daily Whatever.
welcome to the Daily Whatever. We are groggy, but we are fired up today. So I think we should kind of hop in and get started. But you guys need to come on
Yeah,
your live stream.
Karen.
Yeah, for sure,
Anytime.
Karen. I don't know how much I have to say about true crime, but I will do my best, and I know Lawrence would too. Um, First of all, the big news.
Canada!
Go
Woo,
Canada,
woo. Mark
not
Carney.
our home or native land, but we wish it were.
Right, right, right. Soon to be my adopted land, if I can
Do it,
somehow sneak across the land border when the time comes.
right? Lawrence, I know the Canadian theme song, national anthem theme song, sort of, because of Miss Hadley's elementary school chorus.
Absolutely. That
Do you
was
remember?
fourth grade, third grade?
Third or fourth grade?
Yeah.
Uh, those early memories stick. I know the Israeli national anthem. I know the Canadian national anthem.
She
It's
was
just like,
magnificent, and I think unfortunately wasted on us in a sense,
yes,
because I did not until years. Okay, so here's the backstory. Dana and I have known each other forever. We went
elementary
to
school.
elementary, middle, high, college, everything. So Mrs. Hadley was our third or fourth grade music teacher back when elementary schools had, fully,
Right.
Amy, hello, joining from England. Um,
Hello.
Back when schools had, robust music programs and kids could actually take an entire hour or whatever to go to this. Mrs. Hadley
Yeah.
was this petite Black woman who just music poured from her. And she had the most innate sense of like passion for music and musicality, and absolutely was like the perfect teacher for fourth graders, except that uh, I'm not sure we all appreciated how great she
Course.
was.
Of course not. And also the God Save Our Gracious Queen. We learned the British national anthem too.
Right. We learned
Um,
Marching from Pretoria, the South
we
African
are
resistance
mar.
song.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, oh my
We are
God, yes.
marching to
We are marching
Pretoria.
to Pretoria,
I didn't know that's what that song
Pretoria.
was.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you get when you fall in
Oh
love?
my
Like,
God, that
right?
and the whatever student show, talent show,
Yeah.
whatever, where everyone sang that. Absolutely.
Yeah. You get enough germs to catch pneumonia. After that, she'll never phone you. That's a rhyme. That's when people could really write lyrics.
Right, right.
Rhyming pneumonia with phonia is
I
brilliant.
think we we sidetracked ourselves.
We did.
Welcome to the Daily Whatever, where we sidetrack ourselves
It's
easily.
the name is
But
fitting, but
Canada, Mark
we do know the
Carney.
Canadian national anthem.
Right, back to the
Okay.
point.
Yes. Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
Canada. I can't tell you how much we neighbors to yourself on the right side of history needed your left-leaning victory.
absolutely. And it's a narrower margin than I would have liked. It looks like they're gonna have to form a minority government, but only just barely, right? They're gonna need
Mm.
like three people from another party. Except I don't think it works that way. I think you need the entire party to form a block. But they should do that. He absolutely has a minority government regardless. So he's PM no matter what. I regret to admit that I don't know exactly how it works with Canada. I think maybe as soon as election results are certified, he's just re-oathed
And
into office. Um, but what's your favorite part, Dana? You told me already, and I know, and I love it too. This is mine.
oh my god, what did I say was my favorite part that the conservatives were like surefire winners 3 months ago, like by
Oh,
I think a
well,
27
yes.
point
I mean,
margin.
that is lovely. No, Pierre Plev lost
Oh,
his own writing.
yes.
Bye bye, mini Trump.
Yeah. Like Canada was not fucking having it. They were like all on board with this whole like way of the world leaning more. I can't even say conservative and I can't say right because it's a homonym, Lawrence, and they are not right. So I have a hard time with that. Um, yeah, he Trump completely fucked himself with Canada because Turns out when you threaten a nation's sovereignty, they don't like that.
Right. The people respond.
Yeah. Um, and they responded the correct way, unlike the US, who was like, we want 4 more years of this. This seems great. Let's
Right,
be
right,
great again.
right. "Oh, you're
Oh,
threatening us? I guess we'll just bow to you in advance, obey in advance, against
yes.
all of Timothy Snyder's advice."
So I have my dissent mug this morning.
Nice.
Maybe because it was the only clean mug in the cabinet, but also maybe because it seemed fitting to crack Ruth Bader Ginsburg out today. But yes, before we jump into our own um, uh, burgeoning crisis of shortage, we did want to take a moment to say, fuck yeah, Canada. I wish Robin Wilding would join and rejoice in Canada with us because she's kind of my favorite, one of my favorite Canadians. But she does
Hopefully,
not
she
do.
celebrated last night with,
Oh,
her
I,
beverage of choice,
yeah.
whatever it may be, and is maybe sleeping in knowing at least that her country is safe for the next 4 or, less broken than ours. And yes,
Right.
Karen, Trump broke Canada too. I think tweeting yesterday morning that Canada would, make a wonderful 51st state again,
Oh my
uh,
God.
probably didn't help. Probably didn't help the conservative case.
Do you know that they're up there like, "You fucking idiot."
Yeah, I'm
But
sure.
it's their own faults. I mean, they wanted to partner with him to I'm sorry, I am not a morning I'm not a morning
Right.
person.
You're doing your first cup of tea, and I'm doing the giant coffee mug this morning because
Yeah, my brain is broken in the morning. My vocabulary doesn't work. Um, so with all that said, go Canada. We wanted to tackle a very American forthcoming issue. And I'm going to let Lawrence
emergent
take the
emergent
lead.
might be the right word.
Emergent
Right.
issue.
Or
Um,
re-emergent, as the case may be.
Lawrence wrote a story about this, so he's going to be taking the lead for a lot of this conversation. But to kind of context set, I am someone, and I know Lawrence is, and I think a lot of Gen X people are able to look around corners. I remember in early March, March 2nd, actually, because I remember those initial days of COVID so well. I was just flying back from Mexico because I got in like a last minute vacation, unbeknownst to me, right before COVID. And I read the news and I saw, I worked in travel at the time. And I saw all the red lines going down the chart. And I was like, we're in for a really long haul with this. And that Thursday, I picked my then fourth grader up from school and I was like, take everything. You're going to stay home tomorrow. And I told her teacher, like, I don't think we're coming back to school by Monday. And by that Wednesday, the next Wednesday or Thursday, everyone was off of school. And I remember at work, my manager being like, this is going to be resolved in 2 or 3 weeks. And I was like, no. And he said,
You're
well,
high. You
it
you
has to. Oh, thank you. Our life is my caffeine addition as well, Karen. This wakes me up with a jolt. I love it. But like he was like, oh well, our business isn't going to survive if this goes on for much longer. And I was like, a pandemic doesn't give a fuck about our business. All this is to say, I'm not psychic by any means, but I think Gen X folks, maybe because we're resilient and we're brought up to on our own, and have a skepticism within us and like a self-protective mechanism. Our pragmatism makes us able to look around corners and be like, something's coming, even if people aren't acknowledging it yet. Because I think most people can't quite absorb what's coming when something's coming in such a magnitude. I mean, that's why I'm researching potentially sending my kid to Ireland for college. Like
Yeah.
I can see what's coming, and I'm willing to accept what's coming. And so when all these tariffs came into place, tariffs, I was like, okay, well, I'm not really seeing anything on the shelves yet in terms of big price changes or shortages, but they have to be coming, right? Because we get a lot of shit from China. And just the last couple days, it seems, I have both in news sources seeing talks of how by the end of May we're in big trouble. And there's a meme, or I guess it's not really a meme, but like a post going around in Seattle of this photo of the port of Seattle emptied of cargo ships. And the person who posted it is like, things are way down. This is highly unusual, and everything's not coming in. We saw
I
another article about the LA Times, and then I've also had friends write back to me on social media and say, this is overblown and it's hysteria. Here's a link. And yes, boats are still coming in right now.
Right. And I think to provide some additional context, right? Like
Mhm.
I lived in Seattle for 30 years,
Right.
and the Port of Seattle is never empty. It's never empty, right?
Mm-mm.
So the Port of Los Angeles, along with the Port of Long Beach, it's the biggest combined port on the West Coast, the Port of LA. Port of Seattle, I think, is second, right?
Is it
And
Tacoma or Seattle that's bigger? But either way, it's
right. So the kind of combined Tacoma Seattle traffic is, I think, second after LA and Long Beach.
that would check.
And they're never empty. And obviously, being on the West Coast, they're incredibly China facing, right? Like huge amounts of traffic to Asia. And so, the context of this meme that Dana's talking about of the Port of Seattle being empty is it's never empty. And it's kind of just south of downtown. So you always see it. You kind of,
Right.
there's not
A
really a
highway.
perspective in Seattle where you don't see the port. And so it's just really incredibly common to see these giant cargo ships coming in, through the Puget Sound into the Port of Seattle.
Right. It's just the stacks of the
Absolutely. Yeah.
cargo boxes.
Yeah. And the major shipyard and the rail lines, where
The
everything goes out.
longshoremen working. You know what really nailed it for me last night, though, Lawrence? That I was like, this is the right topic for us to be talking about today. I, like many people, shop on Amazon a lot, even though reasons. Um, I was like, you know what? I'm going to order a little extra toilet paper because I remember what happened last time. There was no toilet paper available to ship to Seattle before May 6th. Not even the shitty one-ply stuff. The earliest it was all coming was May 6th. And just in case you're listening to this in the future, today is April 29th. I was looking at April 28th, and all that shit usually ships overnight here. So I was like, oh, it's starting. Even if it's not actually a problem with the ports, and with imports, which I absolutely believe it is, um, there's a perception that's already starting that there will be scarcity.
Yeah. I
But from
also
there, Lawrence, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Well, no. I just wanted to provide some additional context that, like, the reason we wrote this article is because, there are other Substackers giving credit where it's very appropriately due. So Michael Snyder, the opinionated ogre. Oh gosh, there's a third guy, and I'm blanking on his name, but I'll add it in the notes because there are very smart people on Substack, right? So um, one of the beautiful things about being on this platform is how much intelligence and experience there is here.
Yeah.
And other folks are really starting to explain the map of the future of what's about to happen. And
Yes. I think it was Opinionated Ogre who, I'm sure you're not listening because you're huge,
right, for me, it
but I
was Michael
love.
Snyder's post, just
Yeah.
giving that credit where it's due.
Oh,
But
was it with the graph that was showing like the flow chart?
yes,
Okay, sorry, I have the wrong one then. But
oh no, that was opinionated ogre. Yeah, so lots of people. The point is, lots of people are posting about this, right?
yes,
Um, and we thought it was important to talk about because part, kind of as I said in the first line of the article that we posted, like if you lived through 2020 and kind of if you didn't, you're 4 years old and what are you doing reading this? Go back to bed.
right. How
uh,
can you read already?
right, that you're very precocious. Congratulations. We saw all kinds of panic buying, right? I
Yes.
think the biggest thing that stood out for me thinking about this is not just the impact of the consumer goods shortages, like in the moment, right? That time period where you just couldn't find toilet paper anywhere, but it was, I think, all of us learning in real time kind of how the supply chain works and how things are interconnected and how seemingly random it can be, right? Like I remember at one point, it was like salad dressing. Like you couldn't get salad dressing to save your life for a week. And that,
Bananas. I remember we lost bananas in Seattle.
right. And it was kind of like you were seeing the impacts of the supply chain. And, I wish I had kind of a giant, you know, mega universe brain, which I think is an insult on the right wing, but whatever. Uh, and I could kind of map out how that all works. Like, how do you go from toilet paper shortages to bananas to, and I know those things aren't necessarily connected, but kind of, because there might be high Kira. They're just interesting ways in which the back end supply chain is connected, and we all learned that in 2020. And the point of this is we're about to go through it again, folks, and
Right.
potentially worse.
Yes, because this one we're bringing, I can't even say leader with a straight our current regime has brought this on us, and I can't decide if it's sheer stupidity or intentionality. My hunch, it doesn't really matter. We'll be dealing with it either way, but I feel like there is a sense of wanting to put us all in a state of hardship because people who are struggling are easier to control.
Right.
That's my Gen X cynicism there. And so for me, the conversation turns to how can we best weather this? Let's see, worse because everyone in the world hates. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and there's another side note here, right? Which is
Mhm.
that Trump theoretically put the tariffs on hold for 90 days and made a promise that he is absolutely incapable of keeping, that he would renegotiate trade deals with every country before the 90 days was up. And, we're uh, 20, 30 days into that 90-day pause. And so there should have been 20 or 30 announcements so far about
Right.
renegotiated trade deals. That hasn't happened because no one is actually they're negotiating with him, but no deals are actually getting done because he views all of this, as we all know, as extortion. And no other country wants to be treated that way. And so
Right.
it's bad now. We're going to see this impact, over the course of the next couple of weeks as the last container ships, the last orders that got placed right before the tariffs finally coming into the ports. And then after that, there will be virtually nothing. And
Right.
and then there's no salvation, right? Because Trump has not negotiated any of these deals that he promised that he would negotiate. And so this isn't just, the thing that really stuck out to me most from the kind of developing understanding and opinion of this is obviously it's not just a light switch that you can flick. Even if everything turned back on right now, even if we went back to 3 month ago status quo, it doesn't mean that there would be container ships flowing into the port of Seattle or the ports of LA or New York or wherever tomorrow. It means that it would be, 45, 60, 90 days before those ships would actually get here. And it isn't a light switch, and it isn't being flicked back on. Trump is fumbling the ball once again and
Right.
overpromising and underdelivering.
I just had this flash. Do you remember that movie? It was a pandemic era movie, Don't Look Up on Netflix.
Oh my God, do I remember it? I wept at the end of it because it
Did.
was so ridiculously plausible. It made me hate humanity.
Right. I can just see because I when I put this on Facebook, which I'm still on, but far less than I used to be, thanks to Substack and Mark Zuckerberg's idiocy. But I had placed this meme up about there being no ships, and one of my friends posted back and said, "Oh, my relative works as a longshoreman, and she says this is all fabricated." And I was like, "Okay, well, this is someone I trust. Interesting." And then she continued and said, "But she's really conservative, so grain of salt.
Mm,
She's a Trumpy." And I was like, "Oh my god, is this gonna be like Don't Look Up, where it's a complete denial of what's right?" And clearly, metaphorically right in front of us until they literally, in the movie, that one scene when they look up and they're like, "You've been lying to us. We can see the asteroid." That was maybe the part of the movie I thought was least plausible, because I don't think modern day Trumpies would look up in the sky and say, "You lied to us." They would still say, "Ooh, it's gonna miss." Until our planet got hit with that goddamn meteor, they would be denying it. But until they can physically walk down to the wherever and get the look of the port and see it's empty, or until they walk into their grocery store and see the shelves empty, they're just not gonna believe it.
Yeah.
But we can be wiser than that and get ready. I am still having a sense of optimism enough to assume that once we are in the throes of it and people are like, "There's literally nothing to feed my family on the shelves," that will force an action and will re-steer things. It's just my hope, and I think realistic vision, is that we are in for a few months of hurting, not the rest of our lives or like years of hurting. What are your thoughts on that, Lawrence? Did I
I
deny? Right? Yeah.
I think I mean it's between those two poles, right? Like, do I think it's the rest of our lives? God, I hope not. But do I think it's more than a few months? I do, and I'll tell you why. It's because so let's look at two sectors, right? So one is agriculture. Yes, it's true that the majority of food that Americans eat is grown here. And the way that we'll notice in the grocery store first will be, coffee will be way more expensive, chocolate will be way more expensive, exotic fruits, fruit out of season, things that we've become accustomed to, but things that we can't literally produce in the United States, right? Like,
Right.
sorry, we can change the climate, but not quickly enough that we could grow
Right.
coffee in the United States
Or
anywhere other than Hawaii.
strawberries in the winter, right? But
Or strawberries in the winter, right? So I think we'll see that in the grocery stores and we'll see it in higher prices. But the knock on effect that I think people aren't talking about or thinking about yet is American agriculture is in a massively precarious position. And family farms have been under pressure for decades now. And this is going to, like, several things are happening simultaneously, right? Like, um, right as everything becomes more expensive and people start feeling food pressure, family farms are going to get pressured because, uh, you know, while maybe in the short term prices will be more expensive, and
I
hey,
saw that.
Sally, and family farms will potentially be making more. The credit chain, right? The ability of them to get access to easy money at low interest rates is collapsing. And
Right.
so I think there's a lot of worry that small family farms are going to get pushed out of business because agriculture was already such a thin margin game to begin with that
Mhm.
anything that kind of fucks with that math is going to start screwing over family farms. And so that's one thing, right? And I think we don't understand the knock-on effects there fully yet. I mean, it could be that we end up having a wheat crisis or corn crisis or something because this is going to impact family farms in ways that we can't predict. And then the other thing is manufacturing. We don't understand yet as American consumers how much of the stuff we do make in America has parts sourced from China and other
Oh, yeah.
countries or crucial materials. And so, like, the last deliveries of crucial parts to manufacturing plants in the Midwest is going to happen sometime over the course of the next 15 to 20 days. And after that point, there are machine shops, right? And assembly shops all over this country that are going to stop producing because maybe one tiny part that they need from China is the thing that causes them to not be able to deliver. And so and trucking, right? I
Trucking it, yeah, logistics and transportation.
Logistics and trucking is going to be absolutely fucked. So trucking companies 3 months ago were scrambling to find people who had their CDL, right? The commercial driver's license, people who could drive trucks. And now they are talking about letting people go because when the last container ships hit the ports, there's that one final load to be transported and then nothing else. So, you know, according to modern American late capitalism, economics, why would you have truck drivers sitting around idle? You
Right.
wouldn't. You would fire them. So that's my opinion. Like,
Right.
it's going to get bad, and then it's going to get worse in ways that we can't quite calculate, I think.
Right.
And yes,
So
it'll
even
eventually get better. Hopefully a meteor strikes Trump, and we can finally move on and correct everything that's gone wrong in this country. But I don't think that's going to be a short-term turnaround at all. What do you think? And hey, let me say, folks who are watching, if you've got opinions, please post them. We'll happily read whatever you've got to say. And sorry, Dana, I asked you what you thought, but I
no,
do want
no,
to say one more thing.
please.
Michelle Teho, I hope I'm saying your last name right. Michelle from Untrickled, I think is on the call. And if you don't already follow her, you should, because she talks a lot about the way blue collar workers, truckers and machinists and farmers um, get screwed over, right? How trickle down economics was a trick
Right.
played on all of us. And please go follow her and read what she's got to say about these really important topics too. I know I will be reading what she's got to say because it may be that we kind of have to go back to sort of a World War II or Great Depression mindset where we're sharing sugar, like borrowing sugar
Right.
rations from each other, or coming up with scrappy ways to do things because something really common is about to go away for a while.
Right. I'm looking out my window right now into my very weedy, overgrown mess of a backyard that I don't have time to tend. And I'm like, I should go buy seeds.
Right. If you don't have a victory garden planted, do you see that? I just spat coffee off of my mustache. I'm elegant, everybody. The dangers of trying to become Santa for Christmas is that my massive now mustache is going to be soaked with coffee.
Right. That and I love Michelle has a robust, I believe, decade old sourdough starter. And I think yesterday posted more bread. And I was like, yeah, it might be time to hit up my neighbor who has a sourdough starter. Seeing a huge slowdown already. Sarah, what are you seeing a huge slowdown in already?
So she said,
Oh,
my whole family works in the auto industry in some
oh,
way, and my husband has been laid off since October, and there's no real
sorry.
timeline of him returning to work because of this. And she says, I worked for a big company that tests prototypes for one of the big three, and we are seeing a huge slowdown already. Yeah, that's terrifying, right? Like that, I think that story is unfolding in millions of American households. And yeah, and the tourist industry is
Oh,
slowing
yeah.
down. I mean, anecdotally, my sister and brother-in-law have a condo in Florida, and they usually rent it out to Canadians over the winter. And those Canadians are not coming. they're they're not coming this year because Trump has put such a bad taste on Canadian tourism that I mean I wouldn't if I was Canadian I wouldn't go give
Oh,
my money to Americans while Trump is in office.
no, and I wouldn't cross the border. I mean, I have a friend from Medium who is one of the editors with at Memoirist and Age of Empathy with me, and she and I bonded over our love of Taylor Swift. But she's a music fan who lives in Vancouver, BC, and she had tickets to. She was like, "Do your kids like Dua Lipa?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's all right." And she was like, "You guys want to buy tickets for this show because um, it's in the States and she won't come down for it." And I was like, there was an article, I read it on Medium. I'm actually the one who boosted it. I was like, "Yeah, I'll try nominating this," and it's been read more than 30,000 times, which is huge on Medium, from a and I think it ran in The Guardian too, a Canadian young woman who was coming in for work, and they ended up detaining her for weeks and
Oh
weeks.
God, yes, that story.
Like, I I my mom is in Italy. She got arrived this morning, and one of my close friends is going to France. Like even just when I was coming back over the border from Ireland, I was scared to come back to the U.S. And I'm a citizen. Um, I deleted Substack, Medium, all my social media. I took the face recognition off my iPhone, and I'm not exactly a, raging dissident, I'm just a writer. Coming as a non-US citizen, like, there are no pr real protections for you anymore. Like, it's so crazy to not be rooting for the home team to actually be excited when other countries are doing things in defiance of us,
Right.
even though it will harm us. I'm still like, "Yes, please help us," because we can resist here all we want, but until it's really moving the needle for that fucking 39% of people who are still giving him a thumbs up approval rating. Sure, it's a crazy low rating after 100 days, but 39% of Americans are still like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this." So, hi, Peter. Peter, your name always makes me smile because I don't know if you've heard this before, but I'm sure you must have along the way that Peter
Right.
Murphy, the lead singer of Bauhaus, uh,
His name is Peter Murphy. I wonder if he's ever heard that before.
well, I mean, it's a pretty niche taste, but if you were, a Gen Xer into goth music back in the day, like Peter Murphy, yeah, every time I see your name, I'm like, "Oh, he'll cut you up and spit you out." I love Peter Murphy's voice, but I also love your voice, your written voice. So, um, that's why I put the William in. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, you make amazing homemade marshmallows, Lawrence?
I do. Karen was just saying that, we were joking about Teslas being literal dumpster fires. And she said, marshmallows we don't have, but I happen to make amazing homemade marshmallows
Oh.
um, in various flavors. I've cracked the code on an incredible strawberry marshmallow that will literally change your life.
I
Uh,
love marshmallows. Will you send me the recipe? I had no idea about this.
no, I will not send you the recipe. It is IP.
Oh,
I am
Lawrence, I'm your oldest and
I will
bestest
send you
friend.
marshmallows. I will
Okay,
not send you the recipe because one
deal.
of these days I'm going to open Schmores, the high-end s'more restaurant. Well, not restaurant. It's going to be like you go in, and it's going to look like a little campfire kind of. It's going to look like a Boy Scout camp or a Girl Scout camp or something, and
Yeah.
you'll order your s'more, and the schmoresketeer will make it for you, and then you'll sit around a little fire, and yeah, drink hot chocolate, or then the parents will drink wine and eat your s'mores. So,
Okay, I love this.
how have I
Also,
never told you this idea,
idea,
Dana?
hybrid idea,
I'm
add
not accepting hybrid
karaoke,
ideas. I own
campfire.
Schmores.com, and I'm making Schmores happen one day.
Oh my god, I had no idea. I love that I learned new things about you after 45 years of friendship.
Yes.
Um, so when you open the Seattle branch, let's make it a, campfire karaoke collab because people can sing around their campfires. You can make private rooms. They get their although they may get smoky,
Mm.
but you can sing Kumbaya around your fucking campfire with your schmores.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. As long as there's a way to quasi soundproof between the two,
Yes,
because
of
I want the
course.
quiet campfire experience on one side, and we can do campfire karaoke around the other side. But
Maybe
I'm
just
in.
campfire
We'll figure out a
karaoke
way to
after
do
hours.
it. And
After
oh my god,
hours.
rent guitars and ukuleles, Karen, that's brilliant. And Peter, yes, you can work for me. Think about how many people are available to work.
I don't think we're depending on, imports for this because you can make unless we're out of sugar or I don't know what other ingredients, Lawrence. I'm
I
kidding.
mean, if only I could tell you. I mean,
Right.
go you you can look up any marshmallow recipe. I mean, I've modified in such ways that the strawberry flavor of the strawberry marshmallow punches you in the face, and the
Love it.
schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
God, they do. Let's go lick the wallpaper
Mhm.
in Schmores. Peter, I also wanted to say that I did not know the other Peter Murphy lived in Turkey like you. That's wild. We can set up a stand in Dublin. Yes. You know, um, so the food discovery, because Dublin or Irish food, you're like, yes, Guinness stews and whatnot. Um, but what were they called? The spice bags. I had never heard of a spice bag, and my it's so weird. My travel partner, my ex, who is my family, but my daughters and I were traveling with their dad, who is my ex husband, but is also like my friend. So the four of us went, and he's Irish. He's the one with the passport, so the kids have the passports. But he was like, "We need to try a spice bag," and I was like, "You don't like spice bags? Oh my god!" I was like, "What's a spice bag?" And have you heard of these, Lawrence?
No, I mean it sounds like a creative epithet that you could hurl at somebody. You
You said a
spice
spice
bag.
bag. You could do that, but when you're in Ireland, if you say spice bag, it is imagine a like I think it's Chinese, but it's an Asian Irish hybrid food
Hmm,
where it's like and I think it's like their late night hangover food, like our Dick's burgers here. But you can get it around the clock, and it's, a bag of fries and fried chicken and also fried, like, onions and peppers tossed in a bag with a ton of, like, curry-like seasonings, so they're spicy,
that
and
sounds amazing.
it's such a gut bomb. It's so like, it's so I found Irish food in general super salty. These are like a sodium overload, but, like, the umami, like, oh my god, it's so good. Asian nachos. Yeah, but you, like, get it in a bag, and so you can, like, walk around if you wanted to eating it, but we sat and ate it at this place, this little place that we found, and, um, we look David is still like, I want more spice bag," and we've looked, and there isn't a place in Seattle, and I'm like, "I don't think this would be hard to replicate
Yeah,
if you had a deep
seriously, I was just
fryer.
gonna say, like, there you go.
Op
That's your
open it."
survive the Trump depression.
Right? If you can still get spices, is this gonna be like the spice trade again where,
Yeah, honestly, yes. Probably that is the limiting factor, right? Like, do we grow enough curry in the United States that you would be able to do it?
Mm.
Sarah says there's a gourmet marshmallow company in Sanford, Florida for Christmas. They make one with gold leaf. Sarah, that's the extra ordinary. So I want I want one thing on the menu that is like ridiculous, that has gold leaf in it that costs like 99 bucks or something. I mean, not really. We wouldn't charge people 99 bucks, but something ridiculous.
Right. There's a
Uh,
recession coming, Lawrence.
what's that?
No, there's a recession coming. No
Right,
$99
right. Yeah, we missed
marshmallows.
literally missed the boat for the
Oh, missed the boat. Okay.
everything for a while was, oh, this is not upgraded. What did we say? Uh I don't know.
I
Ah,
don't know.
coffee. I
Uh,
need more coffee. Let's talk
vocabulary.
about in our remaining time what we can do as
Yeah,
people, as humans, as Americans, like kind of knowing this is coming.
right.
Because
I have a prop. I have a
okay,
prop.
let's hear it.
Hold on. I'm gonna disrupt my poor dog who is so snuggled up on me, but she will come back. I'm sorry, Kira. Hold on. I need to grab my prop here and my other prop here. Um, I told you all that when Amazon couldn't ship a pack of toilet paper till May 6th, I was like, "Uh-oh, we're about to hit that crisis again." But they could do a Prime delivery. So this morning, this is my response. We have I even ordered 2 different brands, or I guess they're the same brand, but 2 different kinds because here I am. "The boats aren't coming, help us."
Right.
That's my
Just as I
response.
said, what can we do other than panic buying?
It's not really panic. I didn't buy all of the toilet paper left on Amazon Prime. I just bought a couple extra packs because, I've got daughters and we go through things. I also ordered extra dog food and some extra soap and laundry detergent just because, it's never a bad idea to have. I'm kind of a depression era grandma at heart. You know this about me, Lawrence, right? Like, I buy the rotisserie chicken. I've got one in my fridge and we eat it for a couple meals. And I make congee from the dark meat in the skin. And then I take the bones and I make soup stock and put the last batch of soup stock is what goes in the congee.
That is
Um,
absolutely my favorite hack as well. And I think
yes,
I think Michelle posted about this recently too on
yes.
Trickled that like the
Michael?
ultimate hack is like the $5 Costco rotisserie chicken
Yes.
and you get a couple meals out of it and then yes, you make stock and
Mhm.
you make congee, which is brilliant. I usually end up making matzo ball soup.
Yes, I make matzo ball soup too with the stock,
Yeah.
or I'm not supposed to have gluten now, so matzo balls aren't so good to me, but, yes, I make chicken stock. Congee though, do you have an Instant Pot, Lawrence, or
Oh
anybody
yeah.
else?
I make congee in my instant pot all the time.
Okay, the New York
It's
Times
brilliant.
recipe? It's so easy. it's kinda new to me, so I'm like, "Oh my god, it's a revelation." Just, like, 2 to 3 cups of, like
Well, yeah. Remember a billion years ago when I was in school for acupuncture and Chinese
yeah.
herbal medicine? That's where I learned about kanji because it
Oh,
is, you
it's
know,
medicinal.
uh, in the same way that chicken soup is a traditional, like, herbal remedy for us, kanji is the same, right? And there's spices that you can add to it that make it warming or, boost gallbladder or,
Ooh. You'll have
yeah.
to share some tips maybe in a future one, but, I put ginger I add ginger to their recipe,
Yep.
and I
Yeah.
don't use
Ginger's a good one.
I don't use romaine lettuce because I don't want wilted cooked romaine lettuce, so I put kale or spinach. This one has kale in it, and then I top it with all kinds of stuff, but I'm obsessed with Trader Joe's has that, like, crunchy onion chili topping. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes.
I love the shit out of that. That's really good on top, and, um, my eldest likes to eat it for breakfast, so, they should be coming downstairs pretty soon, but, are you talking about studying Chinese herbal medicine?
Karen just asked if I do cupping, and I absolutely learned how to do cupping. I've done cupping. It's been
A minute?
decades at this point since I've done it. I really literally cannot believe how much time has passed since our early days in Seattle.
I know. I know. Our young adulthoods are very long in the rearview mirror, but I feel like I've told people before, usually in bars, because in a bar, people think I'm like a dimly lit bar, people tend to think I'm way younger because it's usually far younger people who are there. And I've leaned in and been like, "I'm a time traveler." And by time traveler, I just mean, like, I have lived multiple lives in my adulthood, and I'll probably write about this at some point of, like, keeping a sense of feeling young and fun and vital for decades. I feel like I have been through multiple, like, life cycles of, um, what it means to be an adult in a city enjoying it, not just sitting at home doing nothing. Although I feel like I've never quite rebounded from COVID. In
Yeah,
terms of having fun. I look very young for Gen X. You're very sweet, Karen. It's I'm in a very well-lit window, so it's like, um, removing the wrinkles.
right. She
That and the
throws in, so
Botox.
does Lawrence. Oh, friend, you don't have to. I'm literally trying to be Santa Claus this Christmas, because apparently a good Santa Claus can make decent coin during during
Right?
the holiday season. My big gray beard is the prime thing going for me, along with these rosy cheeks. So,
Right. Oh, you're gonna be the
um,
best Santa. I really need to go dig up some of those photos from when you were Santa at our house years ago.
sure, yeah. Post a
I have
story
a
on
picture
Gen
of
Xe
Lauren.
embarrassing the shit out of me.
Right? I think I have a picture of you with, like, I don't know, 17, I think, kids. We, like, squeezed them, all the kids who came over for it.
Yeah, I
So I got my dog. I'm not sure why she's barking, but
so speak. Actually, that's an amazing segue because I think one of the other, I don't know, piece of advice we can offer is Christmas is going to be really weird this year, y'all.
right?
And so, if you have kids and if you are into planning ahead and you have the financial means, ha 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 ha,
Ho, 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 ho,
buying,
you mean?
yeah, I mean ho ho ho, but in this case, ha ha ha, spare coin at this moment, hard to come by. Um, Probably think about buying Christmas gifts early because what I learned kind of reading, Michael Snyder and Opinionated Ogre and others and doing some research is like 80% of American toys come from China. So, I think there are things we can do to start planning ahead that are not just panic buying.
Excuse me, Laura. Uh-oh, that didn't sound so good. Hope I'm not getting sick. Lawrence, do you think retailers are going to start marketing this to us of a, like, shop for Christmas early? Like, you know how, like, every year it feels like you start to get that first Christmas email earlier and the shops are showing Santas in, like, August or whatever. Do you think even now, like, because of this, we're gonna start to get, like, stock up for the holidays, get ready messaging?
we're both marketers. Wouldn't we be doing that if we
That's
were
what
in a
I'm wondering
position?
is like, "Oh my god, is that gonna be my job soon of, like, better, like, scoop up the last toys while we still have them yet, Christmas in July."
Right.
Um,
And
I'm
Sarah's talking about
wondering
knitting scarves for everyone for Christmas. Yeah, like, I
if you
think
can find the yarn.
homemade gifts.
Yeah, where's the yarn gonna come from, Lawrence? Do we have
I
sheep here?
uh, yeah,
Like
absolutely. Honestly, I don't know. We need to research, right?
right.
Sarah, if you know sourcing of yarn, I mean, I would imagine I know that, like, New Zealand wool is very precious, right? And so, probably, we're gonna start seeing things like shortages and price hikes on New Zealand wool, but I think there's American wool. Um,
I don't know, I feel like Ireland, obviously, because I was just there, alpacas, right? South America has a lot of
sure, but I mean, those are all places that have tariffs.
yes,
Those are all deals that Trump hasn't done so far, and
that's what I mean, like, I don't know, but in our remaining time, Lords, like, so there's some things, common sense things, like, make sure, like, just go now and pick up a few extras, don't panic, but, oh, Lansing has hats from there. Okay, cool. Thanks,
oh,
Sarah.
Sarah's just up the road from me. I'm in Fort Wayne. Hello, Sarah.
How far apart is Lansing from you?
It's probably like a 3 or 4 hour drive from Fort Wayne to Lansing.
Oh,
Not
so not
bad.
that far.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The Midwest is a big mystery to me, so I did not know how far that was. Um, I mean, I'm not saying that to be like, I'm West Coast elite. I just don't have a great sense for how,
Oh, closer to Detroit. I guess more like 2 to 3 hour kind of drive then. Yeah.
oh, you're that
Nice.
close to Detroit. Oh, that's really cool.
Right.
Okay.
Too bad we're all so
Um,
far apart because it would be fun to do like a Gen Xe or even just a Substack meetup, you know?
right? It would be super fun. So I've already read, a month or so ago about like if you're needing a new iPhone, you should go get that now. And I'm assuming things like cars, if you're not already too late, you're about to be too late to get a new car because Lord knows that's going to be hard. But like,
Right. And
what
also,
would yeah,
side note, if you've got a used car and you're thinking
yeah,
of selling it, probably hang on to it because I
that's what
think
I'm doing.
prices is that where you're heading with this? Okay, sorry.
Oh no, not where I'm heading. It's what I'm planning because my Mini drives me kind of crazy, and I've been like, "I need to sell this thing and be a one-car family again." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait because I have a feeling, if I wait long enough in this administration, I'm gonna be able to get a lot more for it."
Yeah.
My adorable car that drives me crazy. Um, but, like, what else, Lawrence, in your mind, beyond kind of essential, what I would call, like, earthquake kit stuff everybody should have? Um, have in your research, have you found other things that people should be what else should we be doing or buying? I know you said shop early for Christmas if you have kids who need toys, electronics, um,
Yeah, anything electronic, I think now is the time. Extra batteries is a
batteries.
brilliant idea, Karen.
Okay, I'm gonna go order
TVs, like, if you're at all in the market for a TV, um, there's no such thing. Frederick Pogue talks about this a lot, right? That there's no such
matches.
thing
Oh, sorry.
as an American-made TV, and so, all of that is about to get
Right.
astonishingly more expensive, and, China has talked about, China has, completely banned shipping of 7 rare earth minerals to United
Yes.
States, manufacturers, and as we've talked about before, those minerals exist everywhere. They're mined in many places, but China's the only country that has, um, refineries for those
Mhm.
7 rare earth minerals, and so, even if you produce it in your own country, you ship it to China to get it refined, and then you get the refined minerals back, and you're paying a premium on them,
Right.
and you need them to do things like make the phosphors for TVs, right? So, like, there are ways in which this is going to impact and linger, for a long time. And I think,
Makes sense.
if you need a computer, if you need an iPhone, if you need a TV, if you whatever it may be, now
Right.
is the time to buy it. If you wait, it's going to get much more expensive, even the used stuff.
Right. That makes sense to me. I'm seeing in the comments, uh, matches, candles, flour. Are you guys just saying these things because they're basics you should have around the house, or is there a reason why matches? um, will be in scarce supply based on tariffs.
And I'm sure that, I mean, I know we make matches and candles. I'm sure we mill enough flour here that will be theoretically okay. But I mean, I think the prices on everything are going to go up. And, um, and the piece of this that isn't specifically about container ships coming into ports kind of shortages is the fact that the American economy writ large is going through something unprecedented where
That
many
word again.
countries, if we lose electricity, we're really fucked. And if we lose the internet, in fact, a whole other podcast should be about y'all. How do we stay in touch with each other when they
Oh
cut
my
the
god.
internet? Because they will cut the internet as soon as we really start organizing an uprising, right? As soon as there's a national strike, I am predicting the internet is going to get cut
Really? Wow.
or restricted. I mean, I don't want to sound like a crazy person. Again, I need like my tinfoil hat over here. But do you not think that the government has a way to turn off the internet strategically? I
Or,
do.
or throttle it. Yeah.
Or throttle it, right? And we probably need to think about what are we going to do when the things we post to Substack aren't seen by anybody else because nobody's internet is working or we can't post them to Substack.
Wow. Okay. I see where you're going with this. What about medication? Have you heard
Um,
anything about this? Like that's one thought I've had of like I don't know how much of that is imported versus domestically made.
I, I think it's a mixed bag, right? And this is probably the wrong thing to focus on, but I'm thinking about GLP-1s, right? So Novo Nordisk is a Danish company that makes Ozempic. I would expect that to become more scarce and harder to get. Eli Lilly is an American company that makes tirzepatide, the competitor, and I don't expect that to get cheaper or more widely available, but I do think that, you know, people who are using Ozempic might switch because it would become, easier to get. In terms of cancer meds or things like that, I know that there are certain cancer medications that are sourced from materials that come to us from outside the United States. I would expect those to become very hard or to manufacture and expensive.
Ugh, I'm just thinking of like being a writer, of course. You think of these scenarios of like, are doctors going to have to make calls of like, sorry, we can only broccoli is a great alternative to Ozempic, by the way. Karen, you're gonna need to explain that one.
I mean,
Yeah, I was thinking insulin, and chemo and, like, big meds like that.
yeah,
I I mean, we already know we're losing all this funding to research diseases, but are people, they're antidepressants, they're the things that, uh, I've wondered about HRT because I mean, with the way they're going after the trans community, I was like, "Are they gonna start banning HRT?" And I was like, "The middle-aged women uprising."
right, right. The
You don't wanna
middle-aged gay men uprising, like you'll pry my testosterone out of my cold dead hands.
right? Oh my god.
I just to kind of wrap up, but
Yeah.
the thing that I was starting to say is de-dollarization is real. America, the American dollar has been the global reserve currency since World War II. And for Americans, I think we can't imagine what a world looks like where we don't have the built-in advantage of that. It makes everything cheaper for us. We can complain about prices, but everything in America has been cheaper for the last 80 years because the dollar being the global reserve gives us an inherent advantage in negotiating every deal from the very beginning. And that is about to end thanks to Trump. And when it ends, we're going to experience things like stagflation, which is where the economy is stagnant, but inflation is happening. Everything is becoming more expensive. People can't find jobs. And the Fed is hamstrung and won't be able to adjust interest rates appropriately to manage either the inflation or the unemployment rate. And Japan went through that, and it literally took them 25 years to dig out of it. Japanese stagflation was a thing that hampered the Japanese economy for more than 2 decades. And so like, y'all, brace yourselves. This is going to be a long, long thing, and it is going to take us a long time to overcome it. And the ways in which Trump is fucking us long term is, I don't think we fully understand yet. Even as we're trying to understand, I think the full magnitude isn't really hitting.
Yeah, I remember that awful night in 2016 at the Kangaroo and Kiwi, which I still can't look at without cringing, because Lawrence and I hosted a huge election night party. We had, what, like 70 people in there,
Yeah.
as we were
I never went
leaving.
back to that place after
No.
election night in 2016. I never set foot in there again. Sorry, Kangaroo and Kiwi. You're a great
Yeah.
bar, but my
You
heart
know,
was
it's
broken
now
that
like
night.
where all the, like, barely of age people go party. It's like the Rager bar. It's weird. Anyways, I remember walking and looking at my then very young daughters, and I was like, wow. Like, I wasn't thinking economically, I was thinking more socially of like, in my lifetime, we will not rebound from this, and they will be my age before we can, like, this has been a 40-year cycle, easy,
Yeah.
and I'm now that we're fucking facing this again, like, we won't see the end of this. Gen
Right.
X, this is the rest of our lives,
Yeah. I don't,
unless we live to be 150.
right. I don't mean to bring everything back to generations, right? Although in some ways I kind
There's
of think it's the key
Yeah.
to understanding the cycles that go on in a world. But, in generational theory, there's this thing called a saculum, which is about 80 years long. The 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 length of a long-lived human, right? And the idea essentially is that everything that it's one big cycle, right? Kind of from insurgency to boom to bust to collapse in that one cycle. And we're in the collapse phase, my friends. And this generation, Gen X in particular, and I think Gen X minded people, it's our job to rise to this moment and break free from the bullshit that has chained us for the last 80 years. Basically, the world will radically reshape, and everything that we thought we understood about the world from the last 80 years is going to go away and change. Maps might change, right? Absolutely, the fundamental global economy is going to change, and our job, I think, as a generation, is to rise to this moment. That's why I keep saying I think we're a late bloomer generation.
Yep.
We had to be scrappy and latchkey in our early years, kind of so that we could handle this moment where everything is falling apart, and it needs scrappy and innovative people to pull on their boots and go pick mushrooms out in the forest, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever it is that's going to get us through.
Uh,
Not to get high. I meant to make mushroom soup.
right, right. On that
Something in the
happy
middle.
on that happy note, Lawrence,
It's top of
um,
the hour.
it's top of the hour. It's just after top of the hour. This has been a fascinating conversation. I hope. Well, I'm noticing we've just had a lot of people join, and I'm wondering, Lawrence, if we're starting a little early. I wonder if the people who are joining now are like a Mountain and West Coast time and are like, oh, waking up, and we're
Yeah.
like just
Yes,
about
Kat.
to.
Both mushroom soup and psychedelics will be
We're
necessary to get us through this
right,
time.
and your gourmet s'mores,
Yes. Yeah.
strawberry
I don't know.
marshmallows.
Well, maybe this is a smidge too early for us to be doing this. I think the 10 o'clock Eastern hour, follows well after the contrarian. Maybe we're counter programmed against somebody else at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and, with me needing to go get my kids off to school and myself to work, this is probably about the only time. Why do I have the weirdest feeling you guys would be so much fun to go camping with?
Yes, that
Yeah.
we would have a good time.
I in theory, like, I love being in the woods and waking up in the woods. I hate setting up the tent and breaking down the tent.
Oh, I love setting up the tents. Yeah.
Really? Okay, so Lawrence, you can do the setup and breakdown, and
Yeah,
I'll bring
let's go
the
camping.
snacks.
Are you
You bring the
kidding? I have a solar panel and a battery for my CPAP because I can't go camping without my CPAP.
You're a nature man. Oh, nature wild man.
Right.
Um, this
Uh,
has been so, I guess, fun talking about this disaster
The
forthcoming, but
impending supply chain collapse again.
um, yeah, Kat says that's hysterical. It is pretty hysterical. We will be back at 7 a.m. tomorrow for the next daily whatever. We don't have it be sorry, at 10 a.m. Eastern, of course. I'm the sweet sky, and my wife is the salty snacks one. We've got you covered.
Ooh, all
Fantastic.
right. All
Let's
right.
plan a big Gen Xy camping adventure. I
We
love
should
that
do it.
idea. Okay. Um, have a wonderful day, everybody. This has been so fun. Bye, Lawrence. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Love you, mean it.
Love you, mean it.
Bye.
Bye.